So today we are going to discuss about optical network node and switching elements and WDM networks, wavelength division multiplex networks, public telecommunication networks and its overview. So coming to the first part, optical network node and switching elements. An optical node, what we have already considered, it is a multifunctional element that can perform multiple functions or multiple tasks so that they can perform several tasks at a time, and these tasks depends upon its type and the network requirements. So normally this sends, receives and resends or redirects the optical signals to its neighboring connected nodes. So the main idea of using this networking node or network node is that it can send, it can receive, and also it can resend or redirect the optical signal to its neighboring connected nodes. So the resending or redirecting of an optical signal to the desired networking nodes require the node to perform either a routing or switching function. So resending or redirecting is done to perform a switching or routing function. And it should be noted that when several optical signals are traveling in a multiplexed form, the network becomes transmission system dependent, since most of the optical signal which are multiplexed using several multiplexed techniques can be used with the time division multiplexing or wavelength division multiplexing. Then an optical node can also function as a router because it can direct an input signal wavelength to a specific output port. So it can direct a signal to a particular output port. So a router normally consists of optical couplers where the desired signal from the incoming multiplexed signal is isolated or demultiplexed, and they are directed or they are routed to an output port. And for this particular reason we consider it as wavelength router. And it is possible to change the wavelength of the signal before it is sent to a specific output port. So that is possible. So we can change the wavelength of the signal before it can be sent over a specific output port. In this case, the router is considered as wavelength converting router, and the devices which are used here is to switch the wavelength by changing it to the compliant signal wavelength. So that is possible. If I consider switching of this wavelength by changing it, we can easily do that with this particular wavelength converting router. And it is also known as a wavelength routing switch or also a optical switch. And if I consider the semiconductor switches, it can also perform the same function of semiconductor switches. In optical switch performs wavelength operational functions, that is multiplexing, demultiplexing and switching. And the physical medium, what we consider here as an optical fiber, is fixed, and the information is contained in the messages, which can be changed to send, or it can be routed or rerouted into a particular output port, that is through any destination node through a assigned route or through a assigned path. We can send the information. Such wavelength switches can be constructed using integrated optical devices or optoelectronic devices. The four different functions of this optical router, we see that diagram in the next slide. So we have 1x2 wavelength demultiplexer, which will consider splitting of a signal which is present at the input port, which contains two signal wavelengths, that is wavelength 1 designated as lambda 1, wavelength 2 designated as lambda 2, and routing them to two different ports, port 2 and port 3. And a 3-port wavelength multiplexer will combine these two wavelength signals. Then we are going to use optical add drop multiplexer. In short, we consider it as OADM, which also comprises a wavelength add drop device. So WADD, so in short we consider it as wavelength add drop device, where an incoming multiplexed signal is going to comprise three different wavelengths, that is wavelength 1 lambda 1, wavelength 2 lambda 2, and wavelength 3 lambda 3, is partially demultiplexed by dropping the signal at an intermediate port. So that is possible in the multiplexer. So the OADM further adds another wavelength signal lambda 4. So it is going to add one more signal of different wavelength, which is lambda 4, at an intermediate port 3, which is then multiplexed with the transmitted signal wavelength, so that the combined signal is leaving a port 4 which contains wavelength 1, 2 and 1, 3 and 4. So devices are configured here to drop a particular wavelength. So that is done by using a fixed optical add drop multiplexer device. So this we can see here, we have two different wavelengths signals which are multiplexed, giving two different signals, demultiplexed signals, lambda 1 and lambda 2. Here we are using a multiplexed signal so that two signals of different wavelengths are combined. So this is done using drop and add multiplexer process. So here we see we have a demultiplexer, we have an optical switch followed by a multiplexer. So this is how the OADM is combined with the multiplexer and demultiplexer. So we consider this as 2x2 optical switches, switch with 2 input and 2 output ports. So here we see that it is having 2 input ports and 2 output ports. So 1 and 2 are acting as input ports, 3 and 4 are acting as output ports. So the two optically multiplexed signals here are comprising of two different wavelengths here, lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3, lambda 4. So they are present at input ports 1 and 2. So at the output ports, the wavelengths are required to be switched and multiplexed at lambda 1, lambda 3 and lambda 2 and lambda 4, which are emerging at the output ports 3 and 4. So using this approach, it is possible to produce an optical switch which is having a greater number of ports, that is n cross n optical switch, where n is a large number. So I can have a optical switch with the n number of ports. So a combination of this OADM and an optical switch is producing a reconfigurable optical add drop multiplexer. So earlier we had just a combination, we had just OADM, optical add drop multiplexer. Now we have a combination of OADM and an optical switch, which is giving us a reconfigurable optical add drop multiplexer design. So this device can drop one or a desired number of wavelength channels. So this can be done, it can drop one signal of a particular wavelength, or it can drop many number of signals with the different wavelengths after demultiplexing a wavelength multiplex signal. And also similarly it can add a new signal or more wavelength channels through an optical switch. So that is also possible. So finally the multiplexer unit, what we are going to use, they can bring together all the wavelength channels. So that can be used to combine wavelength multiplexed output signal. So the passive reconfigurable OADM with its functionality is using a fiber grating, which is an optical device what we have discussed earlier, and an optical circulator. So the reconfigurable optical add drop multiplexers, they are very useful in providing simple network topologies. They cannot facilitate complex mesh topologies, so that which can incorporate a large number of nodes. Such networks, what we consider here, they can have a cross network interconnection with an added features used by the ROADM. So this additional element what we are using here is an optical cross connect. So we call it as OXC, that is optical cross connect switch, which has the capability of switching the connection between two interfaced points. So that is the advantage of OXC or the functionality of OXC, so that can establish a connection. So we see that with the block schematic later with the different OXC structures. So under this, we see that a large number of wavelength signals, lambda 1, lambda 2, etc., lambda n, can be demultiplexed at the input ports of an optical cross connect. And these are internally connected to the desired output ports. So these are connected internally to the output ports where the different wavelength signals are multiplexed. For a transmission, we are going to multiplex the signals of different wavelengths within the port. Then the OXC is going to make it possible to provide an interface between a different transmission method. So this is how the OXC demultiplexer multiplexer is going to work. So the OXC is going to comprise of N cross N optical switch fabric, which can provide the interconnections between the networking nodes. Cross network interconnections between the optical and electronic network modes require optoelectronic conversion. So that is possible if I go with cross network interconnection between the optical and electronic networking nodes. So this is having an interconnection between the optical and the electronic nodes, so which require the optoelectronic conversion. And also the wavelength conversion may also be needed to establish a connection here, or else it is not possible using a single light path. So we require a wavelength conversion process which has to be carried out here. Then optical cross connect is going to possess wavelength conversion features like switches or interchange different wavelength signals, and so they are termed as wavelength interchangeable cross connect switches. So WIXC. So this is wavelength interchangeable cross connect. So in addition to this OXC also uses optoelectronic conversion, which is done by OXC, which is termed as opaque OXC. So which can perform all optical wavelength conversion, that is done by transparent OXC. Further, the N cross N optical switching fabric in an OXC is going to facilitate either a physical or logical interconnection. So physical interconnection is provided by the fiber switching capability within the OXC. So that is possible for physical interconnection. In this case, optical fibers are switched and connected to the desired networking node. And also these optical cross-connect switches are used as wavelength interconnection node or wavelength interconnection switch because of its wavelength interconnection features that can have multiple wavelength signals which can be routed to their destination. Either it can be done individually or in a group of different wavelength signals or wavebands. So depending on this, we see that the desired wavelength signals can be multiplexed and routed together to their destinations. So the various type of logical interconnection, that is single wavelength, multiple wavelengths and physical interconnection, can also be combined here in a multi-layer structure. In such a multi-layered OXC layer, in addition to providing a specific switching capability, it can be connected to another layer, thus offering the increased flexibility feature. So a multi-layered OXC is also referred to as multi-granular optical cross-connect device, so which is in short MGOXC. So this layer is also referred to as multi-granular optical cross-connect. Then we have wavelength division multiplexing networks. So we have already considered this earlier. The same thing is used here with some changes, wherein we see that the network is reconfigured. So the optical fiber networks using this WDM technique can be classified into broadcast and select networks or wavelength routing networks. So a broadcast and select network is based on a star coupler. So we have M inputs and N outputs. So the optical transmission is broadcast here so that it can have access to all the nodes using a fixed transmitters and a tunable receiver at a destination node, which is going to extract the desired signal from the entire group of wavelength multiplex transmitted signal. So that is a group of signals with different wavelengths, out of which it is going to extract the desired signal from these groups of wavelength lambda 1, lambda 2, lambda 3, dash 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 lambda n. So this is how it happens. This is fixed transmitter. This is tunable receiver. So this is a star coupler. We see that we have M inputs and N outputs. So these are acting as branch fibers. This is acting as a main fiber. So we consider it as the broadcast transmission. So the transmissions are broadcast here to all the network nodes, and hence most of the transmitted power is depleted on the receiver, which do not use it. So as the number of node is going to increase, each station is going to receive a small fraction of the overall transmitted power. So that is a drawback. As the number of node is going to increase, each receiver station will have a small fraction of the transmitted power. So similarly, a wavelength routing network can be used to avoid this wastage of the transmitted power. So there is a restricted connections to the receiver. And in wavelength routing process, instead of disturbing the distributing the message over the entire network, the signal is going to be routed to a specific destination. So that is done either through a single node or using multiple nodes. And the concept of wavelength routing is where the physical bidirectional interconnections between the 5 nodes A, B, C, D and E are shown here. Using 3 different wavelengths here, lambda 1, lambda 2 and lambda 3, any network node can transmit or receive a signal from another node within the network. So this is possible with this particular network. The strategy of this wavelength implementation network or wavelength division multiplexing network is that it can be used as wavelength implementation network, or it can be used as a path selection network, which is known as routing and wavelength assignment. So that is RWA, routing and wavelength assignment. So for example, if I consider node A can transmit an information to node B using a wavelength lambda 1, and also it can simultaneously receive from node B using a different wavelength lambda 2 only when the signal is routed through node E. So routing is a main concept discussed in this particular topic. So to simplify such routing and wavelength assignment, a virtual topology is used here, which can use only the wavelength paths which are enabled. So the virtual topology is indicated here, where only wavelength signals identify the possible interconnections between the nodes, which is given as per the RWA. And if I consider the physical connection, there is no physical connection which exists between the nodes C and E. But these nodes C and E can communicate through a virtual connection which is set up using wavelengths lambda 1 and lambda 3. And both of these broadcast and select and wavelength routing networks can be further classified into two things, single hop or multi-hop. And if I consider single hop networks, it can allow direct communication between any two nodes. And the data remains entirely in the optical domain. That is, without any optoelectrical conversion, we are going to communicate between the two different nodes. And it is done until it reaches its destination. So this is how the wavelength routing is done. This is a physical connection available between A to E, A, B, C, D and E nodes. Then we have the wavelength assignment. So this is how the wavelength assignment is done between the nodes. And virtual topology. So this is a virtual topology setup which is done in order to transmit the information from one node to another node, and also simultaneously the information retransfer has to happen on the same line with the different wavelengths. So in a multi-hop network, a transmission may take place through intermediate nodes before it reaches its destination. And at this intermediate node, the data can be switched to the next possible node, and it is then retransmitted as an optical signal. But this conversion process is inefficient. It is necessary that there is no common wavelength path between the two nodes, which can establish a direct connection. That is not possible here. Then we have public telecommunication network. So normally we consider it as PSTN. So the telecommunication network which are providing services in a public domain, we consider it as public telecommunication network, where these service providers, or they are also called as carriers, offer a variety of services for public, that is for the provision of voice, data and video transmission. We discussed that with a simple block hierarchy for an optical telecommunication network, which can be divided into three different categories or tiers: long haul, metropolitan and access networks. So this is how the long haul or core network looks like. It is within hundreds to thousands of kilometers. So all the optical cross connect switches are interconnected within this radius of 100 or 1000 kilometers. Then we have metropolitan area network, where we are supposed to use optical add drop multiplexers, and the area accumulated by this metropolitan or the widespread area of this metropolitan networks are tens of kilometers. Then we have access networks. So access networks are done within few kilometers. So here we have local exchange, a local office or exchange. It is connected to a remote node, then it is connected to the number of users. So users can be communicated with each other. Users can communicate with each other only through a local office or exchange with the help of a remote node. So the long haul network, it is also known as a core or sometimes backbone network, which is providing a national or global coverage, which is within a reach of thousands of kilometers. So it is a network within a nation or global coverage. So these networks connect many metropolitan networks within a country, or interconnect together several country-wide long-haul networks. So there is a possibility of network here. Then interconnection between the optical nodes is generally accomplished by means of optoelectrical conversion and optical switches. At the next lower hierarchical level, we have the metropolitan area network, which is often called as a metro or the backhaul network. These networks are going to offer a multi-service platform, and it is confined to a region spreading to tens of kilometers. So presently we have largely implemented network using ring topology, and the interconnections between the optical nodes in the metro networks are also achieved using optical add-drop multiplexers, while the large metro networks can also incorporate optical cross-connect switches. So the lowest tier in this hierarchy is a local access network, which can be extended from few hundreds of meters to 20 kilometers or so. So this access network is going to provide the initial interface to the telecommunication network for residential and business customers. Although these networks can be configured based on the bus, star or ring topologies, the fiber access network configuration is trending. The users are connected to a branching node here, and these users are termed as remote node. They are connected to a branching node, which is where the users are connected to, so that is termed as remote node. So which interconnects the users with the local office or telephone exchange. In order to provide larger interconnectivity, several local offices or exchanges are connected using a metropolitan area network. So for larger interconnectivity, several local offices or exchanges are connected using several metropolitan area networks.